Playbook Football is generating a significant amount of buzz.
There's never a guarantee. We want to be a licensed supplier.
Securing a UK and an MGA license is highly significant.
Gambling product, there's always certification and testing.
A certain degree of pressure. It's not quite on that same level of magnitude. Feedback have you had so far?
It's been really helpful, the player research and the operator feedback. We've had a bunch of player feedback. It's not just about whether the operators like it and understand the concept. It's also about whether players will enjoy it. Give feedback about, is it too complicated? Is it too easy? Is the UI quite intuitive? Does the game feel right? How you play the game and how quickly you develop through. So make it too hard, then people get bogged down. It can take up to 6 months to get a UK GC license.
That must have its own challenges.
You have to sit down, explain the product, explain why it's a straight up RNG gambling game at the base of it.
The rollout will be successful. Hello and welcome to the G3 podcast. Joining me today is Steve Rogers, the CEO and founder of Playbook Fusion, which is a B2B studio aiming to deliver a new genre of betting products. Steve, we've had you on before, but thank you very much for returning.
Morning, Will. Yeah, thanks a lot. Good to see you again.
So Playbook Football is generating a significant amount of buzz ahead of its demo. I've heard a few things about it. So can you share the inspiration behind the game and what sets it apart from other kind of football-themed iGaming products that are out there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Playbook Football is our first title, and the inspiration of it came from a combination of looking at video games, particularly sports-themed video games like FIFA and Madden and NBA 2K and those kind of games, and how we could fuse that with virtual sports, which is my background, so an RNG-derived gambling game. So how do you bring the skill and the team building and the persistence of the video games industry together with the games industry, the gambling industry, and that's kind of that's what the inspiration was behind Playbook Football. And yeah, we're kind of on the cusp of launch, which is really exciting for us.
And what can we expect from the upcoming demo? Is it something that's open to the public? Is it for select partners? Is it for both?
Yeah, we're fairly open about it. We've talked about the game being in development for a while. Obviously, we demoed it at ICE for the first time, where it's more of a kind of quite restricted demo. But now we're going to put the game on our site, hopefully in the next few days. So essentially, anyone can go on there, can play the game in full demo mode from the for 2E, from the first time you load the game all the way through, and operators and will be able to experience the game on there and understand it a bit more. But only really when you can play something yourself, you really get under the skin of kind of how it works and why it's so special, really.
So what feedback have you had so far, be it from the ICE demo or from partners that you already have, and how are you planning to gather further feedback from this demo before it goes for the full launch?
Yeah, so over the past 3 months, we've had a bunch of player feedback as well. So obviously for us, it's not just about whether the operators like it and understand the concept and understand how it fits with their other products, but it's also about whether players will enjoy it. So we've had benefit of getting the game in front of some user groups where punters, potential punters, have been able to play the game and kind of give feedback about, is it too complicated? Is it too easy? All those kind of things. Is the UI quite intuitive? All those kind of stuff. But in general, yeah, the feedback has been good. It's been really helpful to get, because every so often, because we're into the game so much that it's kind of, sometimes you don't see things yourself because it takes someone else, a third party, to see it. So it's been really helpful, the player research and the operator feedback, to allow us to then take advantage of some of that feedback in how we develop the game. And now, operators are keen to see how this game is going to perform alongside the other verticals that they have and how that kind of hybrid product, which it is going to work.
I guess there must be a certain degree of pressure on this game to perform because it's been some time in development. I understand that you're a new studio, but Playbook Football, it's named after the company in Playbook Fusion. There is a lot riding on this. How, of course, you're going to be confident, but to what degree are you almost certain in your own mind that it will be a success and that the rollout will be successful?
Yeah, obviously there's never a guarantee, but yeah, we've put ourselves behind one sport with Playbook Football. I know from my experience that football, in terms of virtual sports, football was always the highest performing product. So we've made a fairly easy choice in that football is our chosen sport. And we've iterated, when we launched the game, that's version 60 of the game. So you might think, they've just launched version 1. Actually, over the last 9 months or so, we launched the company in June, we started development in September. So really is kind of 6, 7 months of development. But we're at version 60. So every single iteration has been a tweak and a tweak and a tweak. And we've had that feedback. So I'm as confident as we can be that this game is going to work from a technical point of view, but also from a playability point of view. But you just never know. And thankfully for us, we've kind of thought about version 1.1 and 1.2 in advance, already starting to think about how the game is going to, how the roadmap looks for the next iterations of it. So, but yeah, we're really excited. We're hopeful that it's going to do well and pretty confident. Couldn't be more confident as you sit here today, to be honest.
So if you, perhaps it's a bit too much to say what the difference between iteration 1 and iteration 60, but say from iteration, I don't
Yeah,
know, 45, 50, that
yeah.
kind of last 10 to 15, what have been the major changes, or are they all at this point just minor tweaks?
It's more about when you only really get the game kind of maybe halfway through the development cycle, as you start to get all of the bits of the game actually working in conjunction with each other. And then it's around things like how you play the game and how quickly you develop through. So let's say we developed the game logic incorrectly and everyone could get to the top of Division 1 in 3 matches or 10 matches or no time at all. Obviously, that makes it too easy. If you make it too hard, then people get bogged down. So what we've actually done is run over the last 4 to 6 weeks, run a whole session of mini games where the target is get the team with the best chemistry. It's see if you can double your money. It's kind of different strategy games. All it is about playing the game and trying to figure out whether the playability. So it's more around those really. The last 10-15% really is all about does the game feel right? Because only then really do you get all the components working in conjunction with each other.
And what's the marketing and launch roadmap? You touched there on versions 1.1 and 1.2. I guess that you already have that roadmap in mind for what you're going to do to the game post launch, or is there scope to have whole new features added on, be it real time stats, social gaming elements, in play decision making, and what's your thinking post launch?
So the post-launch roadmap is relatively modest in that there's been some features that we've kind of said, look, do you know what? We're not going to get in that 1.0. We're going to drop it into 1.1 because otherwise you just build forever and you never get the game live. At some point, you have to draw a line in the sand. So we've got probably 10 to 15 small features that haven't made the cut for 1.0 and they'll be in 1.1. And then the roadmap beyond that is things like a multi-game variant where you've got 8 or 10 concurrent games going on at once, or you've got a World Cup variant. Obviously, we're thinking ahead to the World Cup next season, next June, sorry. And so we're already starting to think about those things. But what we've built behind the game is quite an extensive Google Analytics Power BI system that's gathering data about how players are playing the game. So if we find that after launch, the data is telling us something specific that we've not really considered, then obviously adding a feature that leans into that or maybe takes the game in a different way, that's what we left ourselves open to. So we want to launch and learn and iterate, and I'm sure that'll take us to the end of 2025 where we'll be iterating version 1 essentially in these little mini releases to kind of take advantage of what we're seeing from players.
So is that the date that you're looking to go live towards the end of this year, or is that a point at which it's been out for a few months?
Yeah, no, we're looking to get live in June. So all being well, I can't reveal with who as yet at this point. But yeah, we've got one of the major tier 1 operators looking to launch the game in June. There's still some work to do just to get us over the line. Like any gambling product, there's always certification and testing and all these kind of things that need doing. So we're in the final strokes of launch. Yeah.
And with kicking off, pardon the pun, with football, is football kind of your sole focus for the kind of medium term, or do you foresee Playbook Football becoming a franchise and there being a Playbook Tennis, a Playbook Rugby, a Playbook Cricket, a Playbook Basketball? Do you see? Do you think that there is scope to have similar style games across different sports?
We do. We have to pick the sports quite carefully. So that is the plan. So Playbook Fusion is going to develop, football, basketball, cricket. Basketball and cricket are probably the two that lean into it best, and American football game as well. So anything that's got teams of players playing each other. Tennis is obviously more complicated, but it's just individuals. But like a team sport would naturally fit. And we've built the product such that it's 80% agnostic of the sport, and the 20% is the sport specific element. Obviously, for football, it's 11 against 11, and you've got squads and transfers and all that kind of stuff. But for basketball, it's slightly different, and all the rest of it. So it's kind of that is the plan, to build out a portfolio of playbook games. And that'll mean then hopefully in the future, just like with virtual sports and crash games, you can kind of justify a tab on a site where at the moment we're just one game. So it's kind of where does it fit? Where if we've got 5 or 6 sports, clearly then it's easier to drop them onto its own tab if we're successful, obviously.
And for a young business such as yourself, securing a UK and an MGA license is highly significant. For other companies that have multiple licenses and then it's just another license on the roster, of course, it's significant to them, but it's not quite on that same level of magnitude that it is for a new fledgling business. So, what's the significance of these licenses for you guys?
So for us, yeah, the UK was always our focus. We want to be a licensed operator, licensed supplier. We understand that operators will require that. Any serious operator will certainly want that. So we thought that the UK and the would be a prerequisite really to launch. And it's generally viewed as one of the hardest licenses to get, and therefore it's good that we can kind of prove that we can get through all those hurdles. And it's not easy, it can take up to 6 months to get a UK GC license and also retain it. You've got to have audits and all this kind of stuff. So we understood it was a big undertaking, but I felt it was a requirement. And then that makes life slightly easier. So when we go to Malta, they will look at our UK kind of process and go, okay, yeah, these guys are legitimate. We've already got all the checks and balances in place, and it makes future licensing easier for us. And the plan isn't really to, as a supplier, there's other markets where we also need to get licensed, like Greece and Romania and a few others, and Ontario, for example. So we're also looking to bolt those licenses on. But for now, so I've got 2 parts in my process at the moment. Is kind of short term, get the game live, prove it, and iterate it. And the second part is medium term, what licenses do I need, what certification do I need in order to be able to deploy the product as far and wide as possible in the back end of 25 and into 26.
Two things spring to mind from that answer. One would be, what were those challenges during the license process? Because as you touched on before, it's not like another slot or another virtual game, or if it's going to be in a category of its own, that must have its own challenges for certain on the licensing process inside. And then also those new licenses, what licenses are you thinking about going for?
Yes, you're right. In terms of the product, when a regulator looks at the product for the first time, they understand it's an RNG derived game, but it's a bit like fantasy in that you can pick a team and kind of influence the probability. So it's quite a hybrid. So that can take time because you have to sit down, do a demo of the game, explain the product, explain why in our view it's a straight up RNG gambling game at the base of it, albeit like I said, you've got this team management piece. So yeah, that can hold things up a little bit, and it took a bit of time. We had demo calls with a bunch of regulators now to demonstrate the product. And then going forward, really, from a supplier point of view, as I said, it's kind of Greece, we understand is important because virtual football does really well in Greece, and I know that market pretty well. I know the operators there pretty well, so I want to go to there. Brazil at the moment doesn't require us to have a supplier license. I think that's going to be coming in 2026, so we'll make sure that we're ready for that. Ontario is a focus because I think that fantasy element of the game will resonate really well with the North American market. Um, and then, as I said, Romania is one where you just need to be licensed as a supplier, and Malta, as I said, is coming as well. So it's just wherever we need a supplier license, if the market is of a scale that we think is important for the business going forward, then yeah, we'll get those. And then 2026 really is the US is the focus. So New Jersey, Michigan, Pennsylvania, the 3 big iGaming states. I want to get into those markets. I think this product with a basketball or an American football theme to it would resonate really well, and maybe even with football, to be honest. But yeah, that's going to be. But those are quite big undertakings.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.
A demo of Playbook Football, which is our new our football game from Playbook Fusion. And I'm going to take you through to start with the initial gameplay. So you'd launch the game from a game tile on a sportsbook or a casino site, and this would be the first time experience. So I'd click Get Started. I then get the option as a user to decide which country of choice I want in my starter pack. So if I click England, I will get predominantly English players in my starter pack. And I'm going to click England today, and that's going to give me then 16 players in my welcome pack. You see I've got Jamie Vardy, currently of Leicester, just about. And so these are my 16 players, each of kind of different standings. So a gold player is 80 and above rated, silver is 70 to 79, and then bronze players at the bottom. So I've got a bit of a mixed bag in my starting 16 players. And then as I click continue now, it'll take those 16 players and create the best possible 4-3-3 formation. So I'm going to click play match, and it's going to take me straight in. So it's going to take those 16 players. It's going to pair me up against an opposing team. And here I've got my team overall rating 74 versus my opponent who's rated 64. And now I click continue. It's shown me some players to watch. So it's shown me my best players versus the opponent's best players. And I'm going to click go to bets. It's now going to create a set of odds around those two teams. So because I've got a stronger team and the opponent team is a weaker team, obviously I'm 1-9 on, the draw is 9-1, and the away team to win is 16-1. And I've got a whole heap of bet markets, so I can bet on team to win, draw. You can notice that I can actually bet on the opposition team as well, albeit it's a much lower rated, therefore the odds are bigger, but the probability is smaller. Goals under, over, both teams to score, result and both teams to score, combination, all the various correct scores, all the way down to 0-6, 6-0. So you can see I get some really high prices if I go on 0-6. Anytime first and last goal scorer, so I can pick Jamie Vardy to score first, or anytime in the game, and all the other players as well. Or I can select no goal scorer if I don't think if it's going to be 0-0. Some handicap bets as well. So from here now, I'm just going to pick my team to win because I feel like I'm going to win. I click place my bet. It shows me my potential return. I click place bets. Just going to refresh that browser. And what that will do then is place the bet for me on this match, and then I can click play match to continue. So I just click play match there. So that's the bet now placed. I'll come back to the vault shortly, but essentially that vault bar is it's like a like Tesco reward points. Essentially, as I bet, I earn XP, and as I trip a level, once I hit 200 XP, then I will then receive some kind of in-game reward. So it's kind of like a cumulative spend.
It's that's gamification in action, isn't it?
It is exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, it's the ability for people to earn rewards by placing bets within the game. So now I'm going to click start match. I can go back and add more and more bets. I can add as many as I want, and then I'm going to click start match. And what's going to happen now? I'm going to get a short animation. I'm just going to turn the volume down. It's going to give me a short animation of the gameplay, which lasts up to 90 seconds. Because it's on demand, other than some like more traditional virtual sports games, you can see at the bottom I can actually fast forward. So this is at 1 speed. I can actually 2 speed, or I can actually half speed if I want to take longer. But all it's showing is clips of attacks on goal. So here I've had a shot, and this you can see in the top left there. You've got the minute of the game, so it's currently on the 3rd minute. And then it skips forward to the 6th minute. And then it shows me, obviously, underneath, it shows me my bet tracker, so I can see if bets are up or down, depending on what's going on in the game. I'm going to speed this up to 2 speed for the sake of the demo.
So this is almost, it's a fusion of FIFA's Ultimate Team and Football Manager.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, it's the ability for I basically, it's my team, as it's called, my team. I built this team myself. Obviously, at the moment, I'm just starting with my starting 11. But it's the ability for me to develop that team over time, think about team formation, team strategy, all these kind of things, and then I push it into the game, and that's when it becomes a gambling game.
Yeah.
So from that, you can see that I won the game 3-1. So I won my bet. I won £11.11 for my £10 bet. Fairly small return, but obviously it was odds on, quite strong. And you saw the animation went up from division. So I'm currently in Division 10. Every player, when they start the game, starts in Division 10. And because I won that first match, it's taken me up to this first reward spot, and it's flashing to say that I've got a reward. So I'll go to the league table, and it says, "Welcome to Division 10. Start your journey." And I've got a flashing claim button here because I've won a match. I've gone forward 1 position, and I've got a claim button. So I can claim the reward, which is some in-game coins, which is 40 PBF coins, Playbook Fusion coins. And it's given me a pack of players. So just for winning that game, it's given me a 77 rated striker, a 76 rated striker, and a 73 central midfielder. I can then at this point decide to just to claim all those players and put them into my squad, and then maybe move them into my team if they're good enough, or I can actually sell them back to the game. So here I've decided, do you know what? I'm just going to keep the striker because he's 77, but the other 2, I've got good enough players already, so I'm just going to sell those back to the game. And sell them back to the game means that I get coins. So you see my coins are now going up, my Playbook Fusion coins. So I've now got 114 coins, and I'll take you to the store shortly and show you what we can do with those coins. We've got daily rewards. So this is where if I play on the first day, I claim my 50 coins. If I play 2 days in a row, I get 75 coins. Play 3 days in a row, I get a boost card. So you can see how that's got that reason to come back and play the game again, is because every kind of, if I get a streak of days where I keep coming back and keep playing the game, then I can claim these daily rewards. So I'm going to claim my rewards. So now I've got 164 coins. I talked previously about the vault, and this is where it's that cumulative spend. So because we want people to have a good first experience, we give them a vault spin for free. So essentially, I haven't triggered the vault at this point, but it was kind of saying, look, welcome to the game, have a spin of the vault and understand the mechanic. So on here, I can win a player card, I can win some coins, or I can win a boost card. So here, I've won 50 PBF coins. Yep. I claim those, and they go into my PBF balance. And then the vault wheel resets. So now it's gone up a level. So when I come back to the vault in the future, I've now got some really good players. Now we're into how you manage your team. So from if you remember, and we've got our Fatui here where it kind of takes you through all the various sections of the game, where it's telling me what my overall rating is. It's telling me how to change formation of the team. It's showing me that I can move players around by dragging and dropping them into different positions. It's got where I can apply, I can go and view the rest of my players in the squad. It's telling me how I can apply boost cards to my players. And it's showing me how I can tap and swap players out of my team, which I'll go through in a sec. And as I said all along, there's my in-game currency balance is the one at the top, and at the bottom is the store where I can go and spend some coins. So now this is where I can manage my team. So this is the best 11 I have from that 16 person squad. If I click the bottom left, it tells me, okay, these are my players on the bench. So if I think, oh, that striker, that 77 rated striker, I actually want to swap them in, I can click on him, swap him in. I'm actually going to swap him I'm going to swap him instead of James Vardy because he's retiring. And now my team has got that player in. I can drag players around. I can move them into various positions. And I can also change formation. So if I want to change up my formation from a 4-3-3 to a 3-5-2, I can do that. I can also, from my squad here, if I decided that I don't want Jamie Vardy at all in my team anymore, in my squad, I can actually sell him at any point. So at any point, I can decide I don't need 10 people on my bench, therefore I can go and sell them. I can sell them again back to the game for coins. When I get into what I can do with these coins, I've said to start with that I earn coins from playing matches and winning matches, and I earn coins from daily rewards, and I can earn coins on the vault. And with those 319 coins, I can then go to the store, and it gives me the option to buy various packs of players. So here the cheaper the pack, the less good it is, like less quality. So the base pack, for example, only has 3 player cards and the rating is 66 or higher. So I might think, you know what, I don't really want to spend 250 of my coins just on that pack. So I might play a little bit more and try and get maybe to a premium pack that has 4 cards with 71 or higher, and 1 and 2 even with 74 and above. So I can decide to spend or save my coins as I go up, and obviously things like the ultimate pack have many more. There's 2 versions of the game that we've built. One where I can actually, if I didn't have enough coins to buy a pack, I can actually buy coins with real money.
Yeah.
So here, if I wanted that ultimate pack, I try to buy it. It would say, look, you don't have enough, therefore you need to spend 20 or 19.99 to buy coins. Yep. I buy those coins, they go into my wallet. I can then complete the purchase of that ultimate pack, and now I'm going to get 6 really good player cards with some boost cards as well. So I've got Vinny Jr. on the left wing, which is very nice, and I've got a couple of other good players, and I'm going to claim all those and put them in my squad. So from an operator point of view, clearly you'd make money on the gambling, as in the net gaming revenue on gambling, but also if you take the version of the game where coin purchases are permitted, then you'll obviously generate revenue, which is 100% profit essentially, because people are buying coins with their real money. And you can't convert the coins back into cash. So it's a one-way transaction. I can't suddenly cash in my 2,569 coins. I can only use them to buy in-game assets. As well as having, I mentioned before about the division. So kind of what's the point of the game, if you like. So the point of the game is to try and get to the top of Division 1. So Division 10, if I win a game, I go forward. So I need to win 1, 2, 3, 4 games, 4 matches to get through and to get promoted. But as the divisions go higher and higher, I need to win more and more matches. And the opponent team, which is another user's team in the database, they get stronger and stronger. So if I don't manage my team well, if I don't develop it, if I don't kind of have the best formation and the best chemistry and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to find it pretty hard to develop. So this is where it's important for us in terms of playability that we've got the right kind of balance, because for me to get right to the top of Division 1, which is really tough, I need to play a lot of games, or I need to kind of supercharge my performance by maybe buying packs and buying players and those kind of things. So the ultimate challenge of the game is to get to the top of Division 1. We do have a leaderboard within the game. So we have a leaderboard system set up. So whether it's by country, so these are the UK players, or on a global basis, every time I win Division 1, I get given a star. So essentially, these are how many other players who are playing the game, to see kind of where I am. As soon as I get on that leaderboard because I've won Division 1, then my challenge then is to try and see if I can get to the top of the leaderboard by continuing that or repeating that process.
How difficult was it to build the simulation engine for the actual matches when they're played out? So when my team is playing your team, and being able to judge kind of the chemistry of my team and my players against yours, how did you go about building that engine? Because that must have been incredibly complex, yet alone to get that license, which we discussed in the main part of the podcast. I just thought me through that a bit, because that intrigues me. How do you make it fair so that my team actually is better than yours, or say my team is actually a bit weaker, it's got a bit less chemistry, but your team was lucky on the day, for instance?
Well, it's not competing. I guess it's not my team versus your team in that regard. It's more that I've got my team in the game, and you're playing the team. Your team is offline essentially, so it's an asynchronous experience. So Will FC is sat in the database as one of 10,000 other teams, and when my team gets matched against another team, it just happens to have picked yours, but you would not be aware that it's your team being used. It wouldn't impact your performance or your statistics that your team has been used. It's kind of your team is being borrowed essentially and pitched against mine, because what we want people to feel is that they are playing against other users, albeit they're not in real time. It's not a synchronous player versus player experience. It's more that we've got 10,000 other teams in the database, and rather than just make up 10,000 AI teams, we felt that it was really good to have it whereby it's actually using other users' teams, rather than just an AI simulation.
It's I mean, you might like this comparison, you might not like this comparison, but it takes me back in the day. I don't know whether it was 15 years ago, when Ultimate Team was starting out, and there was the whole loot boxes debate, and is loot boxes gambling, and should players be a certain age before they can play it, because they are essentially gambling on what cards they're going to get. This has just actually turned it into a gambling game.
It's turned it into a gambling game, albeit it's a regulated game that the only way I can win money is by betting. So I can't cash my coins in. I can't trade my player cards with other players. I can't sell you my Jamie Vardy. There's no offline secondary marketplace where I can do those things, which is obviously where loot boxes got themselves in a lot of trouble, because people could win things in the game that had real money value outside the game. So we've deliberately not gone that way. We've deliberately kept it whereby the only thing you can do with real money in the game is either bet, and then it's a certified random number generator will determine whether you've won or lost. Or in like I said, one of the two versions of the game, you can buy coins, but there's no secondary market space to those coins. So I was very conscious that when we built this game, we didn't fall into. We had very clear distinction between what constitutes gambling and what doesn't constitute gambling, because you can imagine if you won Division 3 and you suddenly got given £50, then the whole game, all that element that gets you to the top of that division becomes a gambling game, where actually only the piece where you're betting on the outcome and the random number determines whether you've won or lost is the gambling component. So it was very clear on that distinction, which was obviously very important when we come to talk to regulators specifically.
I think that I genuinely believe this game could be incredibly successful. I think from not the art of obviously I'm part of the industry, but I'm not a developer. From my perspective, I guess the issue is just what you mentioned in the podcast. It's that positioning it. It's getting that awareness of this game out there, because if the awareness is there, this game will almost certainly be played by a lot of people who play either video games, sports bettors. It is that perfect cross. I've never seen a product like this in the gambling space. It's just getting that awareness out. That's got to be kind of the key thing once it's rolled out.
Yeah, the positioning is key. Obviously, it's an online only game. There's not retail at all. So how the product gets positioned alongside live sport or live football or virtual sports or fantasy, because it kind of crosses over those 4 areas really, and it's kind of so yeah, that the site positioning is key for us. One of the key things that we believe with this game, because it's got persistence, because when you come into the game, you play on a Monday, you come back on a Wednesday, it doesn't reset you to 0. You're back in Division 8. You've still got this team that's there now. You've still got this many coins. You need to spend a little bit more to win the vault, or you're still, whatever you may be doing. So it's got that persistent layer, which we think will massively help retention and gameplay. So versus a standard virtual sport or a slot game where there's no real persistence. There might be a leaderboard if you're playing a slot game, but there's no reason to feel like you're on some kind of progressive journey where, these video games are all about that, because the developers of those games want you coming back and playing, on a repeat basis and feel like you're on part of a journey. So yeah, it's really important that we've. So I think that's one of the beauties of the game. Really, is it's got that whole persistent layer, which hopefully will keep people enjoying the game over a longer period of time than maybe they would otherwise.
So will you be at any upcoming exhibitions kind of demonstrating this product further? You said you're at ICE. I presume you'll be at IGB.
Yeah, RGB, SBC Malta we're going to be at, SBC Lisbon we'll be exhibiting at, and ICE 2026 we've already signed up for. So we feel that we've seen enough from the initial interest in the game, and obviously we're very excited about the launch upcoming, that we've kind of already committed to our 25 going into 26 roadmap of exhibitions, because I think there's nothing like playing the game in real time and for us to be able to talk to operators about all the different aspects of it, because there's quite a lot to the game. It's quite a deep game. Deliberately we've made it kind of quite a deep game, so it can be a little bit overfacing. So yeah, we want to get out there and talking to operators about this new vertical and get people excited about it.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Steve. I look forward to seeing how the game does.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for your time.